Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Pleasure Priority Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Amber, and it is my pleasure to talk to you every episode. All right, let's get into this one. So, I actually just finished Temptation Island this weekend, and there's so much to say, so let's talk about it. So, first of all, yes, we have to know and understand that these shows are not designed to help people find love or figure their shit out. They really are just for our entertainment. They are for capitalism, they are for opportunity. And I think that's honestly what's so damaging about them is that they cosplay as what dating is really like or what people really want in relationships, when really their jobs are to embody an archetype, a role, and emphasize it for our own entertainment. And ultimately, what I'm getting at by that is that this is not a standard that anyone needs to accept in real life. And I know it happens. I know these situations are real. But at the end of the day, when you aren't getting paid for this, when you ain't got cameras in your face for this, when you ain't got producers directing you, when you ain't going to get a check at the end of this, what are you doing it for? But not only do these shows cosplay as a genuine dating experience or an accurate representation of the pool of people to date out there, it does, however, capitalize on super predatory tropes in love and dating. So, one, the whole idea of boys will be boys, like we just have this expectation for them to not hit the mark because they're boys. We have this expectation that they're going to do dumb shit because they're boys. We have this expectation that they get to be super sexual and just can't control their urges because they're boys. But gender really has nothing to do with self-control. And it seems like that because of how our culture has socialized genders and the expectation of them. But everybody has the capacity, everybody has the ability to control themselves and their urges. But I digress, because part of that boys will be boys is just that expectation of like, oh yeah, they're going to cheat. It's just the way it is. And going into the show, 3 of the 4 women dealt with infidelity early on in their relationships and decided to stay. And then were trying to work through it. Whereas it seemed like a lot of guys just took that initial infidelity and their forgiveness as a green light to keep fucking going. And then that brings me to this double standard that we have between men and women in so many ways. But you could just so clearly see it this season with one, even just the vibes of the house. The women's house was very chill, very respectful. I think they might have had one party in the whole season. The men's house turned into a frat house very immediately. They always had a party going on. And at the same time, it's like, yes, the people there do play a role in what happens, but so do the producers. They're setting this up. They're giving them all the materials, all the tools, all the alcohol to throw these parties. And they're setting up the men's house for more debauchery, more opportunity for debauchery than they even attempt at the women's. And yes, I think it's their headspace, but I also think it's just pushing this narrative that the men are going to be out partying and the women are going to be at home crying. Like, why can't the girls get some parties too? If we all here to be tempted, let's enter the debauchery. And then that reminds me of this thread I think I saw the other day that says something along the lines of, if men were taught to obsess over love in the same ways they're taught to obsess over sex, our entire world would experience a cultural revolution. But just imagine that. If men's focus was not conquering as many women as possible? What if it was loving women deeply? Loving people deeply? But yeah, I think our world would function so differently. But now we're seeing what a hyper focus on sex does to society. And I really think this idea plays out when you see the difference between the men and women and how they're treating temptation, in that the women are more testing the temptation and not even really. They're just testing the idea of temptation. Honestly, more so testing their men with temptation versus testing themselves. Because they don't need to be tested. They know. They have no worries that they can be faithful in a relationship. Their test is for their partners. Whereas the men are there not to test temptation, but to invite it, to basically be like, you know what happens here. You know why we're on this show. You know what the point is. I just got to get it out my system. What do you mean? The point is, the point was supposed to be, you not getting shit out your system. That shit has already been out, that you can be faced with temptation and not be tempted. That is the point. But really, this season, the people who were on it, honestly, I did not believe any of them except one couple that they actually liked each other and wanted to be together at the end. Like the Grant and Tyler couples, I don't even know why they came. They did not like each other. Their relationship had already dissolved so much. Both of their boyfriends jumped ship in the first 24 hours. And not just by being tempted, but by literally jumping ship out of the relationship, saying that they don't see it, that they're over it, that they don't know how they stayed so long. Bro, why'd you even show up? But again, for our entertainment. But then, yeah, and this is itself its own can of worms, but I also wanted to bring up the double standard around religion, and how Shantae and Brienne, but how they met at church, and how Shantae strives to exemplify a God-fearing woman and her desire for a God-fearing man, while Brienne is just a menace out in these streets. Even though they met at church, he does not have the same ideas or approach relationships in the same ways as she does, or as the idea is behind Christian relationships. He regularly practices infidelity. Jumping into a threesome that quickly? Oh, sir, you never stopped cheating. You you do this regularly. You being in the house and learning more about these random women than you know about your girlfriend that you've been with for over a year? So y'all don't talk? Y'all never having a conversation about your past, about your traumas, about what affects you? So y'all don't commune together, y'all don't pray together, y'all don't eat together? What are y'all doing? What are y'all actually doing outside of cosplaying a healthy Christian relationship that you clearly don't have? And I got more to say about them, but I'll come back. I'll come back. Because all of them, like, I hate for this to be a fuck these men episode, but at the same time, fuck these men. Because what the fuck? Like, they were all bad. They were all so bad. And now there's this thing going on where very, very toxic men, boys, men, child, if you will, have started picking up some words. They've started understanding the language well enough to give the illusion of emotional intelligence. They know what to say and when to say it to flip a situation, when in reality, they're just conceited assholes and professional liars and gaslighters that do not know how to take accountability. So they use the illusion of emotional intelligence to flip a situation back on the other person so they could skirt out of doing their own work or being held accountable for the fuckery that they fucking cause. Going down the list, Tyler literally won't acknowledge how his life decisions affect his partner and their life plan. He quit his job or lost his job, whatever the case may be. Homeboy did not have a job for over 18 months and had no intentions to get one. Now, he says he's been modeling, he's been exploring opportunities and all that kind of stuff. However, when you are in a relationship and when your lives are combined with another person, and when you have a plan of, hey, this is what's going on, this is what's happening, this is where we're going, and then one person veers off that plan, And the other person is like, hey, yo, what the fuck? What's going on? I can cover us. And she was covering them. But she's like, I don't want to do this forever. What's the plan? And then he's like, you can't accept me and the way that my life is moving and the changes. And you just want to keep degrading me and judging me and all this kind of stuff, flipping the situation back on her when all she was asking for was financial security or a plan for it as they continue to move their lives together. And he, in my opinion, was riding that out for as long as he could to continue to get his lifestyle bankrolled without having to afford it himself. That man was not going to marry her. That man's not trying to get married right now, but he knows how to use words well enough to convince that he is, that he's ready, that all this stuff is happening. Even when he jumped into that new relationship with Kay, that man didn't like her. He just didn't want to be in his own relationship. And maybe he liked her a little bit, but like, he wasn't trying to actually leave with her and start a life that he just had and got out of with his other girl. Because she's also going to have questions when you get off an island. Like, what are we going to eat? Where are we going to live? It's life. It's life. And that shit came back and look, and now Tyler's single again. Wow. And Grant, good old Grant. Wow. This one, this one was a piece of work. Like, literally, the mental gymnastics that he did was honestly impressive. Incredibly irritating. I was irate, fuming, angry as fuck, actually hot, maybe had steam coming out of my ears. But also really fucking impressive because wow, the sheer audacity it's just impressive. Like, how could you consistently cheat on your partner? She knows, but she doesn't have proof. You know she knows, but you continue to do it because she doesn't have proof. And then you blame her for holding on to resentment of shit that you keep doing. It's one thing if you did something and they're still holding on to it, like Lena, but we'll get to him. You keep doing something. Like, it's like if you accidentally step on my shoe, cool. I can forgive that. I can forgive that. Move on, keep walking. But then you came back and you stepped on my shoe again. And then you came back, and then you came back, and then you didn't even go anywhere. You just started stomping on my fucking foot. It is no longer an accident. There's nothing for me to continue to forgive. This is on purpose. This high key is an assault. And you want me to just get over it because you've done it before? Because some time has passed since the first time you stepped on my fucking foot? No, no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That's crazy. And then him forgiving himself and forgiving her so he could forgive himself, but like not in a clean way. Like, it was really in the most disgusting way. And then at the same time, how he couldn't let her go. How he was fucking another girl in the bathroom, then gets in the confessional talking about, I can marry my girlfriend in the other house? I can marry her? Are you delusional, sir? I think so. I think so. Like, the back and forth is just, there was so much whiplash with Grant. I don't know how he keeps up with his own lies. And then Lino. I know he might have been the favorite this season, and that's just because there were no better options. He's not actually a really good guy in my book. I don't like him, and maybe I hold grudges, and actually I do. But I don't like him from when he was talking about his girlfriend, and he was talking about how he made her. That basically she wouldn't have the idea to have a business if it wasn't for him. She wouldn't be doing what she was doing if it wasn't for him. He did all this stuff for her. And if they don't end up together, it'd all be a waste. Mm, I don't like that. I don't like that energy. And especially the fact that he was holding that over her head. Like, the things I chose to do to help you progress, to help you succeed, to help you move forward. The decisions I made and the choices I made to help you move forward, I now am going to hang over your head as if you owe me for some shit that I chose to do. No, no, that's not fair. And do I think he grew up over the course of the show? Maybe. I don't know. He didn't get no camera time because he wasn't getting no play. And I truly, truly believe that if any woman was in that house that actually was interested in Lino, he would have done something because he wanted to do something. He kept trying to go for Alex, even though she was into another dude and honestly made it very clear that she was into another dude. He kept trying to go for her, kept trying to bring up this attraction and this temptation that was between them. But it was really just one sided. She did not want him. Nobody wanted him except the girl, except the black girl he sent home. Maya. But I digress because how the show treats black women is absolutely crazy. But I'll put a pin in it and come back because that also needs to be addressed. But yeah, no, he was talking about his girlfriend like he made her. And the only reason he didn't cheat is because he wasn't getting no play. He wanted to. So no, I don't like Lino. But last and certainly least, like, Breon. But this one was just like, and I'm glad he got called out. I'm glad Mark called him out, but I'm also high-key upset that Mark didn't call out anybody else for being a professional salesman, professional gaslighter, liar, manipulator, and he did say it, and it is fucked up. It is fucked up, but that man was honest. He put it all on the fucking table, and he knew that she would take him back, and she did. And not saying that he wasn't gaslighting, lying, or manipulating at all in the show, because he was. He definitely was, especially with the other women in the men's house. That, yeah, actually insane. But to me, the most egregious part of his behavior is how he talked his way out of it, is how he brought up his past traumas in a way in which that information isn't new to him. It's not the first time he saw the connection for how he grew up to how he treats women. He knows it. He's clocked it, and he chooses to do this shit anyway because he can. Not only is it Shantae, but have y'all seen TikTok? The girls coming out the woodwork talking about they've been victimized by Breon too. And they all bad, but still, whatever. Clearly, Breon has no issues pulling. He does have issues with faithfulness and commitment. And him knowing exactly what Shantae wants and exactly what Shantae wants from him and how she wants him to show up for her. And he uses that against her, dangles it at the edge of a stick like a carrot in the old cartoons. And it's just like, come on. It's there. It's right in front of you. Just do what I want. Do what I say. Come back. Don't leave me. Like, and for the whole time for him to know how good of a girl Shantae is, how good he has it, how he wants to be with her, and still do this because he knows he can get away with it. Oh, it didn't mean as much. If I just had sex with one girl, I feel like Shantae had a right to be madder because then it means feelings are involved. Threesome doesn't mean anything. Excuse me, sir? Excuse me? Do you not understand how your partner feels in this? And no, he did not understand at fucking all because he was surprised. Not that she was crying, but that he had a reaction to it. That seeing her upset hurts him. Why is that a surprise to you? If you actually care, if you actually love someone, have you never acknowledged how your actions affect them? Have you never acknowledged that your actions have consequences? Have you never imagined what it'd be like to put the shoe on the other foot? Because let me tell you, with that 24 hours of that haven, even though the boys were the first to go in, even though they went in multiple times that night, the first time the girls went off was just to set it off because the boys had already been set off twice. They just wanted to make them sweat. And sweat is exactly what the fuck they did. Oh my God, what's going on? Whose girl is that? This is so real. How are they doing this? They literally just went in to go in to set off the alarm. And the boys felt it immediately. But it always baffles me how those thoughts never cross their minds, how they never imagine how their girls could be doing the exact same thing that they are. And also, I think it's because they know that they're going in with different intentions. They know that their girlfriends are going in to be faithful, while they know that they themselves are going in to cheat. But damn, it's crazy, and it blows me every fucking time. But I did say I was going to come back to this, so let's talk about it. These reality dating shows are horrible for Black women. Absolutely horrible. They always manage to pick a cast that doesn't actually like Black women. Like, even, and y'all, I've been on TikTok, but looking at Courtney's experience and how she was saying when she initially first got chosen by Tyler for the first date, and there was an audible gasp from everyone that was all the other women that were there, all the other temptresses that were there. And she said that Mark literally asked, like, why did everyone react like that? And snooted up their nose, oh, nothing, da 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 da. But it was the energy of, how could that white man pick that Black girl? How could that white man pick that Black girl before any of us? And then you have his girlfriend being like, oh, wow, I'm so surprised. I'm proud of him. As if this date is a fucking public service. And then in his confessional, it's like he planned it. Like, he picked that girl to not make his girlfriend worry about who he actually wanted. The fuck? So you literally just used this Black woman as a pawn. Granted, I know every woman on that show is used as a pawn, but it's extra. It is so much extra for these Black women. And again, following up on Courtney's experience, also speaking to the role that she was told she had to play. Granted, she was given the option and she chose to take it, of being the temptress, being the vixen, being the girl that has free threesomes, being the one, like, being that girl. She said she was playing a role, and that's how she looked at it. That she isn't happy with what she did and how it looks and all that kind of stuff, but she took a role. And honestly, no shade to her. Do what you need to do, girl. But at the end of the day, this is what the producers have set up. This is what the show pushes. This is the narrative that they want to continue to push. And I really just want to say that this shit is intentional. It's done on purpose. Not casting men that actually like Black women, not just fetishize them, but actually like Black women. They always pick the guys that don't naturally date Black women. So then in these scenarios, in these shows, these Black women are rarely ever picked, even though they are gorgeous, they are smart, they are incredible, but they are not what these people desire. And granted, the producers don't really cast men that actually like women a lot of times. So there's that. But they're really not even giving Black women a fighting chance in most of these shows. That's why Serena and Cordell on Love Island were so iconic, but I digress. I really think the producers, of course they do, play such a big role in this, and how everything is set up and how it transpires. And even when we're at the final bonfire, Brianna and Shantae, she's making her decision and she needs a second to collect herself. Because one, and granted, she should have blocked this. But I feel like she went in knowing what the fuck she was gonna do, and he went in knowing what the fuck he was going to do. And the first thing he did was make her hug him. And that literally, first line of defense gone. Like, you could see it. You could see her crumble. You could see her fall into him immediately. And granted, I know, and I also said on this episode, I also said earlier, and I know it, but I just still, it's just still fucked up that this is really for our entertainment and not for the betterment of people. But I wish they didn't let him hug her. I wish they stopped that. I wish they didn't let them touch. When she takes a break and goes talks to the producer, I was really happy they let that happen because she needed to get away from him, gather yourself, get it together. And she came back and she was like, I want to leave on my own. In my eyes, Mark should have ended it. The conversation does not need to continue. She made her decision. He made his decision. Let it go. Like all the other ones, like, all right, y'all are done now. Okay, let's end it. Felt like the conversation lingered too much, and Mark always be butting in, and he didn't butt in and say shit. You want to call him a master manipulator, master salesman at the end of the show and somewhere else, but you were right there, Mark. You had the opportunity to say what we was all screaming at the TV, and you let that shit rock. And I think you let that shit rock because you knew if you gave her long enough, she would take him back, and that's good for ratings. But that's so bad for her, bro. Like, so bad. I felt so bad for her for the entire show because in this moment, she wanted to be strong. She had it, but then she couldn't keep fighting him. Like if they ended the conversation, they let them leave, I think she could have stuck to it at least a little bit before they went back home. But they left her in that position to basically just continue to hear his bullshit and his apologies and his promises for change until she had to accept them. And that's so fucked. It's so fucked because Black women are always portrayed as having to accept some shit, having to settle, having to fight, having to do so much, be so resilient just to be loved. And that's fucking bullshit. And even how they were coming after her for her reaction after seeing Breon have the threesome, when like I knew it as she was doing everything that she could do to not cry on national TV, to not break down, to not freak out, to not be the angry Black girl. What I saw was her masking, was her holding it in. What I saw was most likely her reaction and her response to any big emotions. Bury it, handle it. Don't let them see you sweat. Protect the ones you love. And that's exactly what she did. She was protecting Breon first and foremost. She didn't want to talk shit about him. She was telling everybody how great it was, how great and amazing he is, because she wanted that to be on record. She didn't want to keep disparaging him because she didn't want to tear a Black man down. She didn't want to put a bunch of shit out there because she still saw it as her kids, their kids, watching this one day and being so proud of their parents. She was trying to hold everything together for everyone involved. Not just herself, not just Breon, but their families, their church home, their future kids that she wants so badly. She was mitigating her reaction, her response, her emotions for everyone else, including people who don't even exist yet. And seeing that broke my heart because, girl, you do not have to do that. You do not have to do that for love. You do not have to do that for respect. You do not have to do that for safety. You do not have to do that to make it in this world. You do not have to do that because I see how much that chips away at you, how much that eats your soul. And I truly, truly, truly hope you allowed yourself to be mad behind closed doors. You allowed yourself to let that man fucking have it. You allowed yourself to be sad and you allowed yourself to cry for real. And I truly hope that you let yourself imagine what it'd be like, not if Breon didn't do this shit to you, but if you had a partner who never did, who never even thought about putting you through some bullshit like this, who actually reciprocated what you put into the relationship, who treated you how you wanted to be treated, who you could rely on, who had the emotional capacity and the emotional intelligence for you to feel safe in the relationship and for you to feel safe to unload your own stress and your own baggage in the relationship, and not just the problems that he causes and brings that you want to rectify, where you actually get to be a partner and y'all get to have fun together. I truly hope you let yourself imagine what it'd be like to have the relationship that you want to have. I hope you let yourself see that there are men out there who actually embody the potential that you see in Breon. You don't have to wait for it. You don't have to work for it. It already exists and you can just have it. But my friends, I think I've ranted long enough. I have so many thoughts about reality TV, and yup, I'm still gonna keep watching it because why not? Granted, I had to stop Love is Blind because that shit was crazy. That shit was crazy. And now everything is just getting too white, like overly white. Like they're like in the same archetype of white. They're not even inviting the spicy whites anymore. And it's not as interesting, it's not as appealing. So I don't know. Maybe I will stop watching these shows one day. But let me know what you think about this episode and if you like my commentary on other reality shows, other common events. You can always put that in Ask Amber. It's in the show notes of every episode. Just post a question, give me as much context as you can, and I will respond to it on the next Ask Amber episode. But all right, my friends, I hope that you are not in a situation like any of the girls on the show. I hope that if you are, you know that it can be better. And I hope that you reach out for the support that you need in creating that better change. Because it really don't have to be that hard. It really don't have to be that hard. And if you really want to find love, I don't recommend going on TV for it. Like, that's a great way to hit a lick. That's a great way to get opportunities. But love, different story. Different story. I think there are so many other better avenues to go down to create the loving relationship that you want in your life. But y'all stop doing this to yourself. You do not need to go on TV unless you genuinely just want to be on TV for the vibes. But with that, I'll see you next time. Have a good one. And as always, stay pleased. Thanks for joining me for this episode of The Pleasure Priority. I hope that when you see things can be better, you're inspired to do better. Because remember, you deserve nothing less than an abundance of joy, fulfillment, and all the peaceful good vibes. If you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Oh, and hey, make sure you're on my email list for more tips, laughs, story times, community, and all things pleasure. So until next time, keep living life on your terms because settling is for the birds. All right, stay pleased, my friends. I'll see you soon.